in. We have QR codes around the building. That's your sign-in for tonight. That information will be used to provide any follow-up information if needed with you. We also invite you, if you require interpretation services, to make sure that you have stopped at the table out front with Dr. Jennifer Love, who is our director of our Office of Interpreting and Translation Services. She also has staff here in the audience who will be at the microphone with you if you need that kind of support. We are also fortunate to have with us ASL interpretation that's live here on stage, so that every conversation, every presentation that is made will be afforded to our audience that requires those services. We ask to follow our norms for the evening. Of course, this is all about sharing and communicating with our superintendent. We ask that we all follow our norms of making sure that we speak with positive intent. We're looking for solutions and ideas. We ask that when you have an opportunity to come to the microphone, that you practice brevity. That means be as succinct as possible. We will have staff at the microphones to support you. We're asking every speaker to ask one question with no follow-up, to allow other people in the audience to have an opportunity to ask questions as well. We also invite you to make sure that when you come to the microphone, that you introduce yourself, your name, and spell your name so that our ASL interpreter can make sure that that information is transmitted to our larger audience. So on that note, I would love to now turn the mic over to our wonderful, illustrious superintendent, Mr. Millard House II, who is delighted to welcome you tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you. Absolutely. Good evening. Good evening. It is good to see you all this evening. As Dr. Jackson indicated, my name is Millard House, and I'm the superintendent of the Prince George's County Public School System. And I'm happy to be here at of course, the home of the Jaguars for my third in a series of 4, as we're entitling them, Listen, Learn, and Lead. All have been town halls that have really afforded me the opportunity to do just that, to listen, to hear, and to truly learn more about the needs of our community and the individuals that we serve in this community. Now, I'm going to take a little bit left in reference to what I've done at most of the town halls. And before I begin, I do want to acknowledge what's going on right here at Flowers High School. I know that this is a proud school community that has earned the reputation across not only the county, but the region, and also the state for excellence. I actually had a chance to hear from a group of probably about 25 students a little while ago. Those students in the back, give yourself some love. And what I learned real quick, not only students, but I also had a handful of alumni that came back to share their passion as well. And they shared their passion specifically about the impact that Dr. Brown has had on them and that currently he has on them. Now, I know that Dr. Brown is not just any principal, any leader, but a longtime leader of this specific community who is widely loved and respected by many in the community, students, parents. So with that being said, to parents, students, and community members here tonight who may be frustrated, who may be hurt, or have specific questions, I acknowledge your feelings, and I can really assure you that the school system is committed to resolving this personnel matter and will provide updates as we're able to do so. So in the meantime, most of you know, if not everybody knows, Ms. Deidre Screws has stepped into the role as administrator in charge on the campus. Teaching and learning and a safe and supportive environment remains the number one commitment and will continue to be what we focus on at Flowers High School. So we want to ensure that Ms. Screws is continuing to work with students and staff to ensure that that kind of supportive environment continues on a daily basis. So now when I arrived at Prince George's County just a few months ago, I immediately set out to do my best to learn different communities. I've been in this work for 28 years, spent some time as a teacher, 10 years as a principal, but I also know that being new in a community is being new in a community. So I spent the summer driving from end to end throughout the county, from that close-knit communities like this community, like Bowie, Akakeek, from the vibrant streets of Hyattsville, and spending time where I actually have family, all the way down to Brandywine. I had a chance to spend time in our schools, meet many of our educators, administrators, support staff, and really see real quick how special this community is and how tight-knit this community is. So as we gather here tonight, I'm acutely aware of the rich diversity and cultures, background, different perspectives that really define not only Flowers, but defines Prince George's County Public Schools as a whole. And it is a must that we take this kind of pride in the diversity that we have and make it a priority to ensure that we're shaping our educational future. Now, with diversity, when we utilize that word, comes the responsibility to ensure equity for all of our community, all of our students. Equity can't just be the buzzword of the month or of the year. It must be a principle that guides the decision making as we make our way to ensure that the excellence is what our focus is. Now, as superintendent, it will be my charge to work towards an equitable learning environment and opportunities for every student as we move forward. Now, we started off the school year, as many of you may know, with 5 ribbon-cutting celebrations, and in really 5 days we were moving. This new state-of-the-art opportunity to open schools that are incredible at Suitland, at Landover, at Delphi, Capitol Heights, and Hyattsville, and we actually have one more that will be opening in a couple of weeks, or about a month down the road, which we're extremely excited about at Akakeek Academy. Now, the idea of 6 brand new schools opening to support approximately 8,000 students is huge. But it's important to realize that these schools were built in just 2.5 years using first of its kind, a funding mechanism that is a major plus to this county. And it's going to be important that we continue to have the opportunity to expedite our schools to bring in the best facilities possible. The data tells me that about 50% of our schools are over 50 years old. So we know that our buildings need some serious work, but we also know that these new buildings represent really the gold standard and are ready to continue this kind of investment that we know we have to make. Now, in these first months of this new school year, I hope that you have had a chance to experience and engage in our schools, whether it's through your PTA, whether it's through athletics, whether it's through the back-to-school event, or even on the athletic courts and fields that are out there. It's important that we're engaging with our community. Because if you have, and I believe you all know this probably more than anybody, that despite the challenges and narratives, I've had the opportunity to be at about 40 schools so far this year and see different communities. And I have seen some magical things happen. I have seen adults inspiring students. I've seen students inspiring adults, and I've seen things that we want to see in public education. However, alongside the highlights that I've had that have really excited me over the course of time, we know that there's also been difficulties and challenges. And it's important to know that challenges like what we saw at Duval High School and a student losing her life just 200 yards from the high school from a firearm. As PGCPS superintendent, and probably more than anything as a dad of PGCPS students, I take these kind of things personally. And tonight, I want it to be heard loud and clear that there is going to be zero tolerance for the idea of an unsafe environment or weapons on our premises. Now, we always tell students that if they see something, they should what? Say something. I'm always telling parents also that if you hear something or see something, that it's just as important for you to say something as well. In many cases this school year alone, harm has really averted itself by students that have spoken up in reference to a weapon or a troubling social media post. Anything that just didn't sit right to them, many students have come forward, and that's been big. It truly takes a village, and ultimately it takes a village to have the kind of safety and success for our students that we want to see. Now, anyone and everyone who, through diligence, attentiveness, and care, has the power to help prevent items that don't belong in our schools from ever reaching the doors. And this is important. I was actually on campus at Bowie State University just here this past week and had a conversation with the Bowie State president about some of these same things. We know what occurred at Morgan State as well, and this is a bigger conversation that I believe our community has to think through. Unfortunately, many times our communities and our community schools are a byproduct of what's happening in the larger community. So I chose to move forward and brought a message of collective responsibility to a virtual school safety sermon action forum just a few weeks ago. And I encourage you, if you haven't had the opportunity to see what was said and hear some of the concerns in that forum, please take a look at it. It's actually on our YouTube channel, PGCPS YouTube channel, and you can probably type in safety forum and pull it up. I encourage you as a community member to take a look. Now, I can assure you that the PGS team is doing its best and doing its part this year to ensure that we have a safe environment. This school year, we are being as proactive as possible, implementing our new safety measures that we actually put in motion this past year. Former CEO worked on this piece. I worked with her early on and chose to continue moving down this road to make certain that we had the safest environments possible. Now, these extra layers, as I call them, of safety are additional opportunities to have technology and visibility that will be an effective and broader collective commitment to ensure that we are as safe as possible on our campuses. Now, we also know our ongoing investment in mental health and counseling services are at the heart of our overall school culture and safety in PGCPS. And it will continue, and we will continue to invest in the mental health supports, including free of charge, no cost to all PGCPS students through Hazel Health. So as an employee, as a parent, as a student, it's important that you don't bind things in. When you have and need support and have had some struggles, it is okay to ask for that assistance. And that's why we've put this piece in place. Now, another key area we'll be looking into is really operations. I've heard loud and clear about many of the challenges that families have had over the last several years in reference to transportation. And it has been a long-standing issue that deserves a long-standing solution. This week, we moved forward with an audit being done by a company called Formative. That's the number 4, MATIV. This audit, as we're calling it, will include taking a close look into everything from our busing routes, our bell schedules, our hiring practices, to ensure that we do a better job with making certain that our students are getting where they need to get in a timely manner, so that teachers and educators can get them in their buildings to get the order of business focused on in terms of school. Now, in the meantime, we continue to send bus route updates through our school messengers, so it's imperative, especially parents, to know and understand that these updates are available and coming through the family portal. We'll also continue to update on the different bus routes as individual routes may change from time to time, but you can find that information out at the school or on that school's website. So please ensure that if you have modifications, changes in reference to transportation, that you're working with your school. Now, I'm committed to really exploring different ways to attract talent or really ensure that we're bringing in the kind of individuals that we know can make a difference with our students, even with the issues that we've seen in terms of the teacher shortage, the driver shortages. It's important that we look at the research-based opportunities that are out there and make certain that we're moving towards the latest and best practices as we go down this road. Now, in December, I'll be presenting the FY24 operating budget for the school district, and every dollar must align with our commitment to students and, again, equity. Our budgeting process will be transparent, community-driven, and focused on supporting initiatives that the school system will be focused on, not only for the short but also for the long term in reference to our priorities. The feedback that I hear during these town hall meetings will play a large part in shaping our spending priorities to meet the unique needs of each community within the Prince George's County. I'll also invite your input and collaboration specifically for the budget development process in the coming months. You'll have more information that will either be on our website or that we'll be sending out around that. Now, tonight's town hall and those to come, we actually have one additional, is about hearing from you, hearing your feedback. And, I want to utilize that lens through which I consider what's working and what we can do better and what we can do differently, quite frankly. Before we get into the most important part about this evening, which is me hearing from you, I want to underline my commitment to ensuring that we take this feedback and utilize it in the manner of what we do moving forward. As we implement the first 90 days transition and entry plan, you can expect updates from my team. When we hit important milestones over the course of the year, we want to make sure that we share it. And together, quite frankly, we'll work towards the equity and learning in each one of our schools, whether it be the academics, the operation. We want to ensure that we're getting better on a daily basis. So with that being said, thank you for being here this evening, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts, questions, ideas, and embark together on this journey of ensuring that we have the most inclusive, equitable school district that we can have. Now, I want to preference this as I listen this evening. I may not have the answers to every question. A part of this is us listening. I have people that are documenting everything that's being said, and everything will be considered as we take a close look at where our strategic plan will go and our priorities for the future. You'll see, I believe she may have mentioned this before, there are 2 microphones that are down here. We'll allow people to start coming on up to line up to share insights, information, questions that they may have at this time. Come on up. If you're one microphone here, we'll go ahead and get started. And we'll just rotate back and forth. We'll go ahead and start right here. Once you pull that microphone down, so there you go.
Good evening, Superintendent House. I am Addison Dumas. I'm a 7th grader at Walker Mill Middle School. On October 5th, I was brutally beaten by another student and threatened with gun violence on 4 occasions this year. I'm suffering from a concussion, bruising, hair loss, and humiliation. I am not well mentally. The school failed me because they did not urgently implement my safety plan. My mom also sent you an email asking for a school transfer, and you responded by saying that you have forwarded our request to another office. You failed me too. What are you doing about real school safety and reducing bullying?
First of all, young lady, as a father of a young man that's only a year younger than you, I find it deplorable that you found yourself in a scenario, was this last year?
This year.
That it occurred and your safety was compromised. A part of what we're doing right now in ensuring that we have safer environments in our school is a major priority. We're doing our best to ensure that we get better on a daily basis. I do want to offer additional supports, and I believe I have someone here specifically from our Student Services Department that can support you in reference to whether it be telehealth or whatever it may be. I heard you specifically mention that it has really affected your mental health. So I want to be able to be a part of the solution moving forward and assist as we move forward. Where's my Student Services Department? Okay. See the lady right behind you with her hand up? As you come up, I want you to have a conversation with her. Okay. Thank you, sweetie. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Phyllis Wright. I'm a parent here. My name is Phyllis Wright. I'm a parent here. I didn't get no notification in reference to Dr. Brown in that situation. I'm asking you guys to bring him back. This is my first year here with my daughter, and we're very pleased with his services. I ask that you put metal detectors in all of our schools, not just in high school. There's a safety issue here in Prince George's County, period, and we deserve better. Our kids, just listening to that young lady right there, I'm very touched. I'm a mother with 2 daughters that's in Prince George's County public schools, and every day they come to school, I'm afraid of their safety. We want to put school safety detectors in certain schools. Sir, we need metal detectors in all of our schools. I have been fighting for years for safety for our children. So we don't have to have this baby here have this experience, because as we know, gun violence plays in 12, 9, 10, and 11, not just in 16 and 17 and 18. So let's get a grip on that.
Yep.
Thank you so very much.
So what I will say in reference to the plan in reference to the security enhancement equipment, you mentioned the metal detectors. We actually have a plan. We didn't have the ability to get all the equipment in at one time, so we're phasing it in over the course, I think, between now and like January. We should have all of our high schools outfitted, and then some of our middle schools as well. So we are moving forward with that process.
We need need them in our elementary school, sir, too. This young lady is in a middle school, but we need them in our elementary school, too, because all of our staff wants to go home, and so do our babies. So we don't want to send our kids to school in one way and coming back home another. So we asking you, and we're going to give you a chance, because this is your first year here. We're going to work and support you, but we asking you to listen to us as parents and our cry
That's
for
why we're
safety
here.
for our children.
That's why we're here.
Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much.
We appreciate you. Yes, sir.
All right.
You can pull it out. Go ahead and pull it out. There you go.
Okay. My name is DeMarciano Hudley. I'm with the Department of Transportation. Some of the issues that I see that need to be kind of implemented, when routing does the routes, sometimes they add them onto a route, and it'd be contradicting the time of another school. So that causes issues with parents, with students staying out there for long periods of time, which put them at risk. Because of people, the way they drive and things of that nature. So I think we need to work on that. Also, what happens is they'll put
Let me understand what you said correctly. So you're talking about the bell times, the start times.
not the start times, the route times.
the route times.
So basically, routing would put an interlapping school, would be elementary like Vansville, and they have an MLK starting at the exact same time that we're dropping off Vansville at the school, and they want me to try to be over on the other side of town at the same time, and that's not, that's not ideal. It's not going to happen. And then another issue is when they do the routes, they got to understand that just because the bus can fit 64 students, but those are 64 elementary students that can
Right.
fit. They putting 59 students on a middle school bus, and then I'm getting new students every day. So I don't know if they need to get bigger buses to be able to help with some of the transportation needs as well. But it's like, what can I do? I have to ask for help from other drivers, and we're already short staffed. So I think we need to focus on, that, fixing those issues, and, worry about getting the students to and from school safely as much as possible.
And that's a part of why we have moved forward with the transportation audit. It will be an audit that will tell us a lot about the inefficiencies, the efficiencies, what we can do different. But the key moving forward is just making sure that we take those recommendations and execute on them. So we look forward to getting that information back, hopefully December, January, and with the hopes of, as we roll into the next school year, that we won't have some of the issues that we had this past school year. So we're looking forward to figuring out what those efficiencies are, some of them that you just discussed in terms of the routes and the modifications. That will all be looked at by Form. Formative is one of the best in the country. We wanted to get one of the best because we transport 85,000 students on a daily basis, the 8th largest ridership of buses in the country. So it's important that we do our best to get this right. So thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Denise Price. My question is, my son experienced trauma in his old high school, gun violence, to the point I almost lost my child last year.
What school did you say?
He went to Crossland.
Okay.
My son was ended up shot, and we're still dealing with the mental trauma behind that. He was finally granted a safe transfer to his new school. It took me a minute to get him into another school around other kids because he was scared. But the first thing they told me was, I have to find a way to get him back and forth to school. It's becoming a financial burden for me to get him back and forth to his new school that he enjoys. So my question is, because they kept saying they lost funding for transportation for kids, safe transfers to different schools. How are kids that's getting kicked out of school, granted buses to get to these alternative schools, but these kids that's running from it, just want a safe place to actually learn, don't get a school bus at all?
It's a fair question. It's a fair question that we will take a look at.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Essence Herndon. I'm a bus driver for PGCPS, 8 years running.
8 years?
8 years running. I'm also the chief steward of transportation for Local 2250.
Okay.
I am over all the stewards of all the bus lots. I spoke before BOE back in September. You might remember this. 228, that was me. Now it's 228 and counting. As I'm listening to all these parents and I'm seeing the students' signs, we're talking about transportation issues. We're already short, 228 and counting. We have one by the end of this month that will be retiring. That'll make it 229. We have another one that's about to go out, make it 230. The number is growing and not decreasing. The issue comes safety, and I'm hearing this a lot. I just heard that baby speak on how she was bullied. I'm an advocate for the young ones because I've experienced it in my life. And I cannot stand by and watch how folks are getting treated. Now, I speak on safety for my drivers because I'm pretty sure you're probably made aware at this point. On Friday, one of my drivers was assaulted by a parent. The driver was substituting a run. He got to the stop to drop the child off, a pre-K or kindergarten, vested child. The parent was not there to retrieve their child, so the driver went above and beyond his job. He continued on to drop off the rest of the children and double back. When he got there, there was some verbal altercation with another parent, and then
Between two parents?
between the driver questioning, the parent questioning the driver.
Got it.
Then a second parent came into view and went ballistic on the driver to the point where he stepped up on the bus, punched the driver with a child in between them. Now, to my understanding, when PG Police questioned both of them, according to PG Police, conflicting stories, so no charges. But I have video that shows the parent was the aggressor. Not only that,
The parent was getting arrested?
no, the aggressor.
The aggressor.
The
it.
parent was the aggressor. Not only that, because anytime anything happens to a child and it's on our watch, automatically we're sat down on administrative leave under CPS investigation. So where is the CPS investigation on this parent for child endangerment? On that video, I can hear a child screaming, curdling screaming because of what they are witnessing. We are sitting ducks out here, Superintendent House. Whenever there's a lockdown, my drivers are left sitting on the bus. They're not even told to come in to seek shelter, especially if there is an active shooter. If police are looking for someone with a gun, they're left sitting there. I have instructed my drivers, anytime there's a lockdown, leave and stage up somewhere else, safe.
What I will say in response is that when we say safety, it's not just safety in reference to students. It's the adults, it's community, and it's a bigger conversation. I don't know what the specificity was around the policeman's decision in that particular case not to file charges. But what I will say, assault is assault. And,
It is.
and if that's been identified, then my hope would be that charges would be filed if an assault actually occurs. So I appreciate your service over the course of the last 8 years.
Thank you.
And we look forward as a part of this audit to bring our numbers down, to have less routes that are open, less driver shortages over the course of the next. That's the whole idea in reference to what we're doing moving forward. So thank you for being here.
I will leave you with this one thing, though, Superintendent House. As you perform this audit,
I
my
want to make
colleague-
sure.
No, I got you, but my
no,
colleagues
listen to
and I
me.
would feel as
I have,
though
I have
it's-
15 people in this
I got
line,
you.
and
This is
and I
just
want to
a-
make certain
one
that
phrase.
we get to everybody.
I got you.
And I'd be glad to chat with you at a
That's
different
fine.
time, but let's respect the
Oh,
rest
I
of the
am.
audience.
It's just one phrase. Just please
Okay.
come talk to us and not about us, because we can give you all the information you need better than an audit can.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Superintendent.
Will you come up to the mic a little bit?
Okay. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
There we go.
All right. I'm a parent of a rising grader with a disability, so I'm coming here speaking on the behalf of our children with disabilities. This school year has been absolutely horrible for us, and I will make it quick. The schools are not inclusive. Although you guys have 504s and IEPs and things like that, the buildings aren't inclusive. My daughter should be able to access this building just like her like-age peers. This has come to your office But it's just not my child. I am speaking on behalf of all of the children that need services. Money is allocated for our babies with disabilities. But if she wanted to come into this room right here, she couldn't unless somebody helped her. Their bathrooms are outdated. They're being used for other things.
What school did you say?
She's here at Flowers.
She's here.
Yes,
Okay.
she's here at Flowers, and it's just not a Flowers problem. It's a school problem, and the children with disabilities, and especially the ones that are nonverbal, they're getting overlooked, but the ones that have a mind, my baby is physically disabled, but nothing's wrong with her mind, so she can come back and tell me about her experiences, how she feels. We've been in school 8 weeks, and it has been an absolute horrible experience, and the team that I'm supposed to have with the county and with the school, I have not gotten that. It has been a hostile environment. I don't know how to become a partner in this. It's a lot of issues with violence and everything else, but my baby deserves to matriculate through the next, just like her peers that don't have any issues. So
What I hear, just to make sure, because I want to make sure I connect you with, I hear accessibility issues.
accessibility,
many
inclusivity,
instances.
504, they made a decision not to assess her for an IEP just this past week with a document that was over 8 years old from 2014.
Okay.
So many things have happened, and I get it. It's a small population. I've done my research for PG County. You guys have less than 30% of your population of kids that are disabled, so it's either you guys aren't looking at them because it's so small, or it's so small and we try to help these babies matriculate and have access to the curriculum and receive a free and appropriate education as they deserve.
I want to hear a little bit more about kind of, especially the inclusive issues that she's had in reference to, and then also the mobility issues and being able to get in certain places. We want to make sure, as you indicated, that your baby's included in the educational process. My chief academic officer is here, that's in charge of SPED. Will you raise your hand, Dr. White? If you don't mind connecting with her and heading over there, I want to make sure we get some details in reference to your case.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Dr. House.
Hi.
My name is Darius Hyman. I am the Pointer Ridge PTA president. So I'll be speaking on.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you after about 90 days now. So I'm going to be asking a few questions regarding the data and the question in the Q&A sheet that was sent out. So what year was the data survey collected? And did the data, was the survey including the 2 developments or all 3 of the developments? Also, I heard several people talking about the bus shortage. Pointer Ridge right now has about 63 students that are bus riders. Majority of the school, out of the 4 buses, majority of our students are walkers. With it being a neighborhood school. So how is that going to affect the bus shortage that we already have? It seems like we're creating another issue. Also explain the math of, I saw in the fact sheet it said that Pointer Ridge was looking to possibly benefit from only receiving 100 students from the 3 developments. And if you're looking at 1,200 housing units, it doesn't seem probable that you have 33.3 children of elementary school coming out of that large of a development. It also said that the build out is looking over 10 years. These developments are popping up a lot quicker than 10 years. So trying to see how that math really adds up. Another thing that was put on the sheet was about our specialists. Last year we had part-time ESL teachers, but this year we have full-time media specialists. We have a full-time ELD teacher. We have full-time PE. We have full-time music. So we have full-time instrumental and music. So some things on that fact sheet just don't seem quite accurate from people that are on the ground. Another issue is talking about the pride Prince George County Public School has in mental health. And we have a full-time mental health specialist in the school that's already helping our most vulnerable students that are already recovering from, a pandemic and so many things going on with safety. Now closing our school down is creating another mental health crisis, which many of us believe is impeding their development. That really is it for now. We would like to invite you to come to our school to meet with the families and see us.
What I can share with you is that much like in situations like this, the county actually has a demographer, professional demographer. The demographer which is a person that does this for a living in terms of making the predictions in reference to what population is going to look like in certain areas, how fast growth is going to happen. We've used the county demographer in this process. You also asked a question in reference to whether there were 2 or 3 developments utilized. I know there's a big subset of townhomes and then single-family homes that were utilized as a part of this, from my knowledge. We probably need to get some specifics from the demographer in reference to kind of the how and what's, but we try to provide as much information as we could in terms of why we landed on this particular decision. And this actually occurred. It's been a long study in reference to what this has looked like, and there's 3 schools involved. There were 29 total schools as we've looked at it, because enrollment has shifted in the county, and so our county demographer was extremely helpful in what this looks like. So, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hi.
I am a senior here at Charles Herbert Flowers High School. Previously, between this getting started, we had a conversation with our superintendent about 15 minutes before. I felt like that conversation was very unproductive. I feel like we were being listened to respond and not to make action and plans, right? So I just want to say a few things. Dr. Brown, our school's principal, is a true embodiment of leadership and goodwill. His dedication to our school community has been unwavering and unquestionably deserves to retain his position. However, it is disheartening that it took a week for the school to inform us of his temporary leave. PGCPS is missing transparency. As a student, as a parent, as an administrator, we all deserve to know.
Talk to me.
We all deserve to know when our principal is missing. You may say that we don't need the details, and that is fine. It's not why, it's what. So I need you guys from here on out to make sure that you're transparent, because it seems like there's dishonesty. With that being said, my peers and I have something to say. If you're in support of Dr. Brown and what he's doing and him coming back, please repeat after me. Hey, hey, don't delay, Dr. Brown is here to stay. Hey, hey, don't delay, Dr. Brown is here to stay. Hey, hey, don't delay, Dr. Brown is here to stay.
You know what
Thank you.
Please give her a hand, please. Yeah. So what I will say is that I did pull together, as many students that wanted to kind of share what they had on their hearts for 15 minutes. And this young man is one of the leaders in the school, and he had quite a few things. An emotion like this can bring anger. It can bring a lot of different emotions during this particular time. But I think I made it clear on the front end of this meeting. It's not something that I can share details in and around. The students made it very clear that they wanted more information in an earlier time frame. Heard it loud and clear. Respect that. And so with that being said, we'll take it over to the next mic. Yes, sir.
Good morning. Hold on. Good evening, everyone.
And if you don't mind addressing.
Hope you all are having a wonderful day, wonderful evening. Let me start by saying that at the end of the day, this forum, this hearing, it is about us. It is about them. It is about my peers. It is about the teachers, the administrators, the students. It is about those who are in your schools. As the superintendent, a closed-door conversation does not solve the issue that we face as students. We communicated this to you as a student body, and we will again. Rules without relationships will breed rebellion. On behalf of my peers, all of the ones that you see up there that have been touched deeply and encouraged by Dr. Brown, by our leader, the one who has intrinsically crafted relationships with us is gone. We are not asking you for any additional information. What we are asking
let him
you
finish.
for
Let him finish.
is our
Hold
leader
on.
back.
We want to make sure we hear every word you say.
That's okay with me.
Go ahead.
Again, we are not asking you for additional information. What we are asking you for back is our leader. The issues that the members of our community have brought to you stems from not having leadership. Our community is faced with a true dilemma. And if you listen to respond and not listen to act, we will repeat the exact same actions. So again, I must repeat this one more time. Rules without rebellion will breed rebellion.
We appreciate your passion. Thank you, young
Now
man.
my students, sorry.
We got to.
I just want my students, they have something to say to you as well. Hey, hey, don't delay. Dr. Brown is here to stay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Superintendent House.
You're more than welcome, young man.
I'm not sure if
Go ahead.
you can hear me.
Yep.
I would like to, good afternoon, and thank
afternoon.
you for this
Good evening.
opportunity. I would like to further discuss Pointer Ridge Elementary School. You have, both at the Oxon Hill Town Hall and here, discussed the importance of equity. To close Pointer Ridge Elementary School would leave one elementary school in South Bowie with at least 6 in the northern part of Bowie. How is that equitable? That would then create an educational desert within the South Bowie community, where, as the gentleman before me spoke, we have thousands of homes being built. The students at Pointer Ridge Elementary, now that we've all as parents received the MCAP test scores, scored higher than both Prince George's County and the state of Maryland. So why close a higher performing school to send them, and I will not name names of the 3 that would absorb us, but their scores aren't as high as Pointer Ridge. You tonight said it best. A lot of people don't realize emotionally what students are dealing with regarding mental health. Post-COVID, the Pointer Ridge Elementary students are just gaining normalcy, and now you want to close the school and abruptly uproot them again, further creating mental health issues, lack of stability, anxiety, and then he said it before me. According to the previous town hall meetings and the 228 people, my child is a walker. We're 0.9 miles away from school.
Your child is a what?
A walker.
Got
He does not receive a bus. We are 0.9, he's a car rider, I
Got
drive him. But you are creating, by closing this school, more of a busing crisis. So I hear the demographer and anyone else who presented information, but, and the person that you all contact, but as he spoke before, speak to the people on the ground. Because we know what we see every day. We hear our children. We had a phenomenal Hispanic Heritage Night last week with what, maybe 200 parents turned out. Our community is a family.
Excellent.
So this will be a complete disruption to the Pointer Ridge community.
Thank you for your feedback.
And the city of Bowie.
Got it.
But sir,
What else?
I must reiterate, are there answers to any of the questions I just posed to you?
No, I think the information that we provided, we've had conversations with a county counselor as well as another representative around the facts, and we've tried to provide those facts above and beyond what was done last year as well. So that's kind of where we landed on it. But I'm in support of the process that was gone through and the information and data that was utilized during the process as well.
So this is a final decision?
As far as I'm concerned, this is a moot issue. The data is really spelled out, and I'm in support of what the data. And there's a lot of different pieces, from facility safety to age of facility to what the enrollment is in facilities that are better facilities around different schools as well. So there were a lot of different things that went into the decision as well. Thank you.
Yield my time. Hi.
just before you go, just as a reminder, I want to make certain that I have the opportunity to hear from everybody in line. So just as a reminder, I want to make certain that we keep our comments, questions to no more than about 60 seconds. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon, evening, good evening.
Good evening.
So my name is Vania Cox. I'm going to piggyback off of my friend over here. I'm also a Pointer Ridge elementary school parent. Excuse me. My question or concern is that you mentioned a lot of things about the data and this supporting the data, but when was that last evaluated? If you look at the numbers, the enrollment numbers from 2021 to 2022, of the 3 schools involved in this consolidation plan, Northview, Perrywood, and Pointer Ridge is the only school where the enrollment went up. The other schools, the enrollment went down. Also, if you look at the frequently asked question sheet that you sent one of our parents, the communities that were mentioned, I'm assuming the only ones being evaluated, there are 2 more additional ones where the numbers are not supported in that paper. You mentioned, or whoever put it together, mentioned Southlake and Melford, but there's Mill Branch and Amber Ridge also being developed, which would add hundreds of more houses. So my question essentially is, are you going to reevaluate the information that you sent, because it is very relevant to the decision that you are essentially supporting?
We can very easily follow back up with the demographer to make certain that all of the different pieces to the puzzle, whether it be the 2 additional neighborhoods that you're discussing, whether they were included in the process. There was, from what I understand, a 10-year look at what the projection could and should look like.
Right, I'm sorry to cut you off. When that look was done, one of the most recent developments literally came up within the last month or so, a few months. So that wasn't included.
We can ask the question of the demographer, and we will do that. It's been documented, and we hear you loud and clear.
And I'm sorry, I have one more point, and I respect everybody's time. And on the sheet, when it was asked what the facility will be used for, it said it'll be used as a swing school for other schools that are receiving renovation. And part of the reason for closing the school is to save money on upkeep of the school. So to close a school to then use it as a school doesn't make much sense to us.
Swing space, as we build new schools, swing space is temporary space.
And then it also said further down the line to be evaluated as early childhood education center, which is essentially a school.
And there hasn't been a decision made in reference to, there's several different things that could occur. It could, have no utilization and be turned over back to the county as well. So there hasn't been a decision made in reference to what will happen beyond the possible options that are on the table.
Okay, so the takeaway is that you will reevaluate the most recent.
I didn't say reevaluate. I don't want to make sure you don't put words in my mouth. What I did indicate is that I can very easily, and we are open to checking with the demographer in reference to the additional neighborhoods.
That's what I was going to say. You're going to reevaluate the information to get the correct numbers.
We'll definitely reach out to the demographer to make sure that the inclusions of any and every piece of this puzzle are a part of the decisions that have been made.
And then make it a point to follow up with us at our school, because you haven't.
Not only have I had a sit down with the county counselor that was kind of the leader in reference to this, a board member that was leading as well, put together the fact sheet. So we have had follow-up.
You, the superintendent of the schools.
I did that personally. I had that conversation with.
Is what I'm saying. My question. So the problem or the issue or the other concern, and I'm sorry, everyone, that we have is that for a decision this drastic being made, you yourself, who has the authority to reverse it, has not come to our school to address us. And personally, this is all we have.
And this was something that happened, quite frankly,
before you came. Understood.
Exactly.
Understood.
And I have looked at it, and as I indicated to her, I'm in support. As difficult it is to say that, I'm in support of what the data is as I know it, as I've read it. So we will go back and have some additional conversation with the demographer.
And then follow up with us at the school.
If there are issues in reference to what the demographer's information has shared with us that changes the entire scenario, then we can follow up. But if we don't, if there's nothing that has changed, that I don't know that we need to open back up
Well,
the
it
wound
seems
in
like
reference
we
to
would,
what.
okay,
and I-
you know what, you're right, okay.
Okay.
We do
Thank-
deserve an audience, though.
Thank you. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Kira Marshall Walker, and I'm the District 8 appointee for the Parent and Community Advisory Committee. And I have a couple of questions for you for this evening. So I attended the parent training last night, and I'm an ed tech professional, so I'm going to start there. And so I asked a question about when parents will have access to Canvas, because I train people on Canvas, so I know it's not a difficult thing to do. And that is a very important aspect if you are trying to maintain parent engagement. So the answer that was given was you need to log into your student's account. That's actually not the best option for parents or viewer accounts, and is a very easy fix to provide that access. So I'm asking for a timeline for parents to be able to receive a parent access to Canvas. That's one question. The other problem is that when the implementation of these learning management systems or grading policies or whatever it is, they are not adequately enforced, where teachers are required to use the learning management system of Canvas, which the county has paid a lot of money for, and the teachers are not using it. The teachers don't have their pages set up. They still have the Latin on there. That's just a template. And so this is very problematic when it comes to equity, when it comes to inclusion, but when it also comes to access. So that's something that needs to be addressed on the school level, but also on the county level, because a policy needs to be in place, and an ed tech policy needs to be in place and enforced from top to the bottom to say, we purchased this, this is what we're going to use, everyone needs to use it and use it for means of communication. And if you give parents access to it, you go through Canvas and you email them, you have phone conferences, you have teleconferences, you can do a bunch of things. And my last 2 points, I've mentioned this before at the other town halls. I hope that Prince George's County Public Schools explores grading for equity and performance-based grading, especially with the way that teachers do not adhere to the current grading policies within the county. And lastly, 2 more points. Prince George's County Public Schools needs to do a better job at providing IEP services and everything that is required under the federal IDEA, because last week I was here, I was taking my child to get a speech therapy evaluation that I pay for out of my pocket, because I am an educator and I actually do work for a state office that oversees special education, so I know the laws really well. So I have 2 children that have a medical diagnosis that need speech services. My children attend Maya Angelou French Immersion, and they do not have a speech therapist. My daughter's in the 4th grade. The 5 years that she has been there, she has been denied speech services because they say we just don't have a speech therapist available. So with the federal funding that you receive and the obligation that you have to meet the needs of students with IEPs and 504s, I hope that someone in your office will find a way to align the budget to either pay for consultants, but also provide the federally mandated services.
And it is, I want to wrap up so we can get to some other people, but
Yes.
what I will say in reference to special services and the hard to find specific positions, especially around special education, we're taking a close look at our hiring practices as well, and what we can do to grow some of our own to walk into some of these positions, so we'll have more and more educators to be able to support especially our most vulnerable students, our students with special needs. So heard it loud and clear, taking the documentation in as we move forward. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Or yes, sir.
Thank you, Superintendent. My name is Tony Shore.
You can raise that up a little bit.
Yes, sir. I work in the private sector, interested in working with the Blueprints program with PG County. I'm interested because so far publicly you only see the new schools built, so I'm interested in the older schools, in the partnerships to rehabilitate the older schools. Can you explain the portal for those type partnerships, as well as the roadmap and time frame for such projects?
Can we explain did you say portal?
The portal for submitting projects or submitting partnerships for older schools to rehabilitate roofs, plumbing, as well as the roadmap and time frame for such partnerships.
Yep. So from the standpoint of the deferred maintenance,
Yes,
things
sir.
that need to be done and a priority, particular
Yes.
priority order. I'd be glad to connect you with Dr. Sharaska Coleman. He's right there in the back because that in itself is a pretty lengthy
Sure.
process conversation. So if you don't mind connecting with him before you head back,
Yes.
I'd be glad to share some of those specifics. Probably won't be able to do it this evening, but I'm sure he can provide the information.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Renee Fairchild, and
Come up a little bit closer to the mic.
can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm here to say that the IEP system, the teachers, it seems like the teachers' hands are tied so tightly with teaching to a test. The school system has forgotten that children learn different ways. And my son, he had hearing loss, traumatic brain injury, and from middle school to high school, his entire IEP was lost. So they gave him the wrong education for 3 years.
You said it was lost?
It was lost.
Okay.
It's still floating around in the computer somewhere that they have no idea where it is. And I have an email stating that. This is a problem for our special needs children. They need more assistance. They need teachers to have time to look into the core of the IEP. Not just the 10 extra minutes, not the calculator, the deep stuff, not the laptop, the deep stuff. But teachers are not having the time. And also, my child spent $31 today to get to school. I pay taxes. Every year that tax money for transportation comes out of my taxes, and it goes somewhere. So I pay the taxes, and then each school year I have to pay again to get my child to school. The math ain't math. Will you consider a program? If you have bus shortage issues, you can do all the audits you want to. But at the end of the day, if the adults are scared of the children because there is no protection, they're not coming back. That's number one. Since we have this issue, would you consider a program for students that have missed the bus 10 times or more to get some type of credit or refund? You can see the buses that didn't come. Can we recoup some of that money? I can't go to work because I don't know when my child is going to call me and say, the bus didn't come. And if I do got to go to work, I got to pay $30 to $40 to get her here, and then I got to look at my tax bill at the end of the year. I'm paying y'all twice.
You mentioned something on the front end in reference to the IEP process.
Yes.
And I think it's important to know that at any juncture, as a parent, you have the right to ask for an IEP meeting.
We did.
Okay, you did.
And it was wrong
Okay.
the entire time because the IEP has a code. And as a parent,
So do we have
I don't know what that code means.
do we have an IEP currently?
Oh, he's grown now. He
Okay.
never graduated. He didn't make it. He didn't make it. No. Yeah, that one there, we fight. We live across the street. We still fighting for hers every day.
And that's why we're here. We're here to
Yeah.
support and get better.
But would you consider some type of program for the students that didn't have a bus to recoup the money that was paid to y'all from our taxes? Some kind of way.
The goal
It's coming out.
The goal is to get better, and that's a part of why we're taking a detailed look at it, to get as many bus drivers to ensure
But every
that.
adult you speak to says, I would not dare, and I'm 15 years in the system.
Yep.
And I'm coming back, but I'm going only to elementary because it's too scary to walk in middle school and high school.
Are you a driver?
No.
Okay.
It's too scary to walk in those schools. And the adults do not want to drive the buses because they have no protection, no safety. So that's why it's going to be an ongoing issue with no bus drivers. Nobody wants to do that. I'm from my hood. If you bucking me, I'm a buck back. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I raise my children to have more respect where you
No
don't
doubt.
buck at an adult.
No doubt.
And we want our principal back because I feel comfortable when my child come to school, he got this.
We appreciate
Every
you,
day.
and we'll take an account to your concerns. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Superintendent. I am a proud parent of 400 students that attend PG CPS schools. I'm also a maintenance person. I'm a healthcare provider some days, but I'm mostly known for what I am every day, and that's a bus driver, Monday through Friday. This number here, 228, that we all have heard over the last couple of weeks. This number is not new, but I think we all can agree this number is old. So I don't want to speak on 228. I want to speak on a whole new number. That number is 800. So let's say 800 plus. We spend so much time talking about the 228 people that's not here that we sometimes lose sight of the 800 that come to work every day to get your kids to and from school. Okay, I'm one of them. With that being said, in your 90-day audit, I guess a comment/question. I know you're focusing on recruitment, but you also need to focus on retaining us that's here. Because I let 228, me and my bus drivers that's here, we know most of them. We know why and where they're at. And so I just want to share with you where they're at. The second place they're at, I'm going to go back to one, is they crossed the line and went to D.C. Okay, because D.C. makes them a 12-month employee. We're only 10-month employees. My bills, I can't call the bill man and say, well, you know, I don't get paid this month or next month. You're not trying to hear that. Okay, so that's the second place they went. The number one place, and I'm sure everyone probably knows this, where they've gone to, is Metro. Metro's starting pay is what it took most of us here 6 years to get to. That's their starting pay out of training. So the 228 that's not here, that's where they're at.
Got it.
They've gone across the line and down the street to Metro. Those are our biggest competitors.
We appreciate your support. I heard you say something that I think is important. It's not just about recruitment, it's about retaining as well. And you know, when that time comes throughout the process, it's definitely something that we're thinking through as well. So thank you for your support. Duly noted everything that you've indicated. So we appreciate you.
I know I only had 60 seconds, so I'm leaving, but I would love to be able to, if it's just an email, just to give you some of the difficulties, challenges that we face on the daily,
feel free to
and things that's solutions as well. So
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you.
Good evening, Superintendent. My name is Jason Borsico. I'm a community youth advocate here in Prince George's County. I'm a proud graduate of Charles Herbert Flowers High School and Bowie State University. So I just wanted to vent real quick, if that's cool with you. I'm gonna, be quick. I wake up, I say a prayer, then I start my day. I turn on the news, people wilding out, it's not okay. Generation lost, some crying for help, some preach unity, but they called on self. Don't shoot the shot, then fail to follow through. Don't sell yourself to the streets, you're not a prostitute. Lights in that dark room, I'm trying to spark a few. Question of the day, what really bothers you? They want us just to stick to the norm. No matter the forecast, prepare for the storm. Conditioning is everything, this world that we live in. Visions of making it, they want us in the prison. Drugs being sold, pills being popped. Youngest building Tetris nowadays on the block. Money gotta be made. And rolling loud, real live, and how you're stuck in the maze. Build your resume, make more than minimum wage or no law, they throw you in a cage. GPS yourself without the ways in. When you read a book, take your time with the page. P's and Q's, stay on your toes. Know your worth, your friends and your foes. I hope you got it down packed so you won't fail. And pardon me, the story I tell, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I want you, my main thing right now in Prince George's County is what are we doing for the kids? Like, when it comes to the program and teaching them leadership, financial literacy, all of these things, what are we doing? When it comes to mentorship, what does that look like? Because it's a lot of kids that want to lead, but they following all of this wild stuff out here. And teachers, they're getting burned out because it's like the social, emotional learning thing, and I get it, but it's like, what resources are we really putting in? What programming are we really giving them? Like, are we really empowering them through positive words or positive actions? Or are we really just talking down to them each and every single day and realizing where it's coming from? Gun violence is at an all-time high. Kids can't even go outside and enjoy football games anymore. It's sad. So what are we doing as a county? Because as a proud resident, this don't sit well with me.
We appreciate
It don't.
your form of expression. You know, children hear, especially in several different ways, sometimes what adults don't hear. And I appreciate you sharing in the manner that you just did, because it resonates with a different audience, and hopefully people were able to hear exactly where you were coming through. So we appreciate your passion.
I appreciate you, and I look forward to working with you.
Absolutely. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Schwartz, and I am the proud parent of 2 boys, one from Bowie High and one Pointer Ridge, and we're hoping that he graduates there. So what I've been hearing tonight and then also in the last couple of town halls is equity and inclusion, mentioned a lot. But what I also hear emphatically tonight is transparency. And really from the very start that you've come and we've been patient, we're trying to get you settled in, but we've been asking for transparency, and we're still asking for it. So what I see is, transportation crisis, overcrowding in classrooms, which is also going to affect safety. So when I hear of the P3 project and this, oh yay, great, all these brand new middle schools, what about the rest of us? That's not equity. Dumping all of our eggs in one basket and really building a few schools for the immediate and closing 3 now potentially elementary schools, that's not equity. What are we doing for our young scholars? That's what I want to know. And I'm here because I can be, because I have a job where it allowed me to be here tonight. But there are a lot of single parents that cannot be here tonight. So I'm asking you for transparency on behalf of all of them. So my question in regards to, again, when will we get transparency? But innovation should be celebrated, absolutely, but at what cost? And what is equity? What is equity to you, and what is equity to the board? And I know that we have different board members, and I know that you weren't here when the decision was made, but I just ask that going forward, you take a deep dive into equity and transparency.
We can do that. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is LaShawn Jackson. I'm a little bit hoarse, but I did need to stand up here to say a couple things. I've been in the county for 40 years. I've been a student, I've been a parent, grandparent, and now an employee. Prince George's County Public Schools has failed me and some of my children with processes and so many other things, even with HR, being able to grow into positions as an employee, being an advocate for students. I can probably address every single person's concern in this room, which is the reason why I chose to become an employee in the county, just to see if it matched what I was as a parent and a student. I know you don't have time to hear my concerns because I probably have 100 concerns, and I also probably have 100 resolutions. What I would like to do is be part of the plan for the resolution for all of these people's concerns, because this is not even a drop in the hat of the number of students and employees, staff across this county. Prince George's County Public Schools has been a very, very, very poor place for people to work and students to come to school, all right? I have given back. I'm still willing to give back, not just in the community. I'm very active. I've run mentor programs in the school. I've advocated, and there are so many different areas and seats that I've sat in this county. What I would like to do going forward is have a one-on-one meeting with you and talk about possible plans and resolutions, because what's happening while we're in 90 days, which probably could have happened over the summer, we're losing students. We're losing parents. We're losing teachers and staff. There's not a shortage because it's just people don't want to work. It's the way HR is set up. It's the way you can't have substitutes because they have these requirements that really don't make sense. So these aren't things that I'm guessing. It's what I know because I've actually done this. So when you have people come in and talk about, we're looking at a plan that's happened before. 2016.
What I will say is that we're open. That's a part of why we're doing what we're doing, and not just coming in with an umbrella plan. If you have things that you have documented, feel free to send them our way. That's a part of what we're doing, is gathering. You also mentioned not only just the problems, but also a number of solutions. Please send them. I'm taking a look at as much information as I compile as possible. We are taking a look at it all, so we appreciate it, and I look forward to getting it.
All right,
Thank you.
you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Henry Moore. I'm a grandparent. My grandson is 6 years old. The last school season, he was at Perrywood Elementary, and he had problems there. He has an IEP, and they waited the whole summer to tell us that he was going to be transferred to another school 10 days before. And now we were at Perrywood. Now we're going across town to Francis Scott Key School. And if you look up, you will see that school has one of the worst ratings. He has 5 other kids in his class. He's now in the 1st grade. He does kindergarten work. He draws pictures. He has never had the opportunity to read. They read to him. This is sad. In 2 more years, he'll be in 3rd grade, hopefully, and he'll have to do work with reading a book and making the summary of the book. But at this level, he'll never get there. The school, he had, like I said, there are only 6 kids in that class. They have 2 assistants, but there's so much fighting in the class, and I'm trying to figure out how can 6 kids be in a big room and still fight with each other? I'm trying to figure out what's going on. We've gone to the principal. Nothing has happened. I need my grandson to get an education, because this here, he needs an education, because right now it looks like this is the beginning of the penitentiary. If he doesn't get an education, he's going to be a black man walking around with no education, and you know where he's headed. I need your help.
What I will say, I think the IEP process is going to be very important. I want to make sure you connect with our chief of schools, because I don't know the details of what program he's being bused to, but Dr. Rasheen Davis right behind you.
Yes.
Dr. Davis, will you raise your hand?
Real quick. Now, they transferred him to that school. He has to be at the bus stop before 6 o'clock to get to school by 7:45. So we cut that part out. We get up in the morning and drive him to school. And today, he got beat so bad that we had to go to the school and pick him up because he missed the bus because he was in the nurse's office. This is not the first time. I got a picture right now that I took of today, what happened to him. He was beat. He was stomped. He was kicked in the face 5 times. And I got
We want to investigate it and get the details. So Dr. Davis will document. She actually, or Dr. White, right next to Ms. Davis. I want to get the documentation so that we can investigate the matter and take a close look into it.
Well, I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody here that seems concerned.
We appreciate you. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Latosha Frank. I am a proud...
Come up just a little bit so we can hear you.
Sorry. Good evening. My name is Latosha Frank. I am a proud parent of 2 PGCPS students. My son goes to Phyllis E. Williams Spanish Immersion Elementary School. My daughter goes to Kettering Middle School. She's in the Spanish Immersion program. I want to share that a good foundation has been laid in the development of that program. However, I represent a community of 1,000 parents plus that have invested the time and effort in believing our children can be the next crop of global leaders.
The next.
Crop of global
Got it.
leaders. However, we need to be equitably resourced with in-school programming as well as extracurricular activities after school to help our leaders grow. My baby is 11 years old, and this summer I took her to Costa Rica and she flourished. She was out there talking in 3 languages. Okay, she represented this county well. And I wanted to share, as a parent, I am committed to staying in this county. I'm not like some of my neighbors that have enrolled my children in private schools or have left this county because of how it has failed our students in the school system. However, I'm here to share that the Spanish Immersion Program needs to be supported because we are raising global leaders to be in the UN, to be our next crop of leaders, to be the next house on the stage. And so as you develop your plan, I want to ensure that our Spanish immersion schools, our language immersion schools here in the county are properly resourced to lead in best practices, not just for the state, but also for this country. Because we've established a good foundation, but we want to go from good to great.
Absolutely.
And so we want our home to be brought into your house to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Jocelyn Ford.
Hi, Ms. Ford.
I was here last week, and I told you I'll be back.
Good to see
and
you again.
I brought some friends with me. I'm the 228 crew. I'm with transportation. Been working for.
I think it's important to know that, you know, as a part of this process, you did say you would be back, and I'm, you know, here to support you, here to hear from each one of you. A part of this process is us, you know, continually getting better over the course of time, identifying what the issues are. That's why we're doing what we're doing in each one of these listen and learns, and taking down meticulous information to really take a close look at, you know, what many of the issues are, so that we can address them over the course of time. So I think it's important to know that it's a we, because I see myself as a part of the solution moving forward, and want to be ensuring that we all are a part of the solution moving forward as well. So, you know, I want you to come back to the next one as well. It shows, you know, the support and what we need as a team to move this thing forward to get better.
Okay. Like I said, I've been a bus driver for, I say, officially 26 years, but unofficially 27, because they don't count your years of subbing as a driver, okay? I love my job, but it's getting to a point now where I don't like it so much. And that's a horrible feeling to go through when you start losing that you don't like your job because you don't have the support from your supervisors, your peers, and you're constantly fighting with payroll about payroll issues that we've been dealing with all year long, last year and this year. The same problem where you're supposed to be paid at 8 hours. You bid it on an 8-hour run. You paid at 6.5. No bill collector want to hear I don't have your money. Nobody wants to hear that. And y'all won't send us a letter saying we could send it to them so they could do that, you know, to cover it, say, oh, I'll give you till next month to make this up. No, they don't want to hear that. We want the problems fixed. We do the work, we want to get paid for the work.
Yeah. We appreciate it.
And we go above and beyond every day, every single day. And what I want to give you this button that I said talk to us and not about us. I want to give it to you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you. And thank you all.
And thank you for listening to me.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Philomena, Philomena. My last name is Owona, Owona. I'm a parent, an educator here in PGCPS, and a member of PGCEA Board of Directors, the largest labor partner in the district. And I'm a concerned community member. First of all, I want to appreciate all of our educators, our bus drivers, all educators, so that is inclusive of teachers and bus drivers, cafeteria workers, everybody, all of our educators, and thank them for serving the leaders of, I don't want to say tomorrow, today, because we just saw some of those leaders here, those young students. Superintendent House, I invite you to PGCEA to meet with the educators of this system. You will need that perspective as you're going about this. Every child, every student needs a champion, as we learn from the wisdom of Rita Pearson. You asked what I'm most proud of in our district. I'll tell you. It is our commitment to diversity, equity, and belonging. That's PGCPS's strength. And we need to ensure that we protect that. With that said, I also want to join my voice to the student leaders in this building and strongly request that Dr. Gorman Brown be returned to his community. Dr. Brown is a strong, caring leader who has heavily impacted this school community in a positive way. Please return him to this community. Now I'm going to go back to a little bit about the educator side. A lot has been said. This is real quick.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I want to wrap up.
As an educator, Canvas is not user-friendly. I'm going to drop that down there. Some of my curriculum resources for Q1 is not even loaded. It was not last year. It is still not loaded this year. Educators are overwhelmed and overworked. There are too many things added to educators' plate, especially in light of educator shortages. We know that. And another point I want to bring up is the transparency and collaboration. They are direly needed. I have heard a lot from you this evening talking about demographers. They are not coming from the school's perspective. They are not coming from the community's perspective. Drive around Upper Marlboro, Bowie, there are no trees left. There's so many buildings and things going on. Where are those families going to go? Where are those students going to go? Our schools are going to be, once again, overcrowded, and we will not have the resources that we need. So there's a lot that I can say to you, sir, but what I really do ask of you and implore you to do is to listen, but really truly listen, and not for this to just be, something to check off. It has to be authentic, and it really has to be to meet the needs of this community. So I heard the lady talk about the immersion program. I am from the immersion program. I proudly represent Maya Angelou French Immersion. I will show you my shirt, but I'm cold. But in any case, we just had our second annual, hold on 1 second. No, 1 second, and I'll step up.
You've been up here 4 minutes, and I want to.
What is it? Hispanic heritage.
The rest of the group, ma'am.
Sir,
so let's be respectful.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
We appreciate you. I want to make sure that we have the opportunity to hear again. We want to hear from as many people as possible to document, but let's keep the brevity in mind as we finish up this evening. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
No, it's evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you? First of all,
good.
I want to welcome you to the state of Maryland. I'm not going to beat you up too bad because you inherited this problem, and you need time to figure everything out. I'm from Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system where you came from, so you already know the values that are instilled in us. So I'm here to talk to you about some issues that really need to be addressed, and I'm asking you personally to look into it. There are racial disparities in American education, more specifically with African American males, but what I've experienced in PG County schools, and I'm a teacher, and I also have a child. There's historical, systematic racism at Mount Rainier Elementary School. I'm telling you as a teacher, I am the teacher that exposed the racism because they kept it under wraps. African American children are being called niggers, monkeys. Your hair is like Harriet Tubman. Get back on the boat. And the 2 white administrators that was there, they told a student, don't worry about that. You're not that. This is not civil rights. This is 2023. And the reason why I am so dedicated is because my child was a victim for 2 years in a row. I have been retaliated against, removed from the school, sent to a dilapidated school in which I cannot work at. Glenridge Elementary should not be open, but it's predominantly Hispanic and a little bit of African Americans, and I feel like, again, back to things not being equitable, those students are placed in that school because their parents are scared to come forward. I'm not gonna risk my life in a school that's filled with asbestos, with the original windows, with the movable chalkboards that we had when we were in school. It's ridiculous. So I'm asking you, as a new person to the school, check your administration, check Newman Brown, check Christy Baldwin Murphy, check Jeffrey Carpenter. They are making a bad name, and you are going to take the fall for it. And I'm not going to let you take the fall for it. Check into it, see what they're doing, because I'm telling you now, I have reported them to the Department of Education. I currently have PG County under a federal investigation due to racism, and I'm not going to stop. I feel like I am the modern day Martin Luther King, Toussaint Louverture, and Nat Turner. My child is not in Prince George's County Public School anymore because I have to fight to show her if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything.
We appreciate
and I
you.
can't do it.
It's a part of why we're here as well. So thank you.
I don't want you to point me in the direction of any of your people because they're just here for show. They take names, they take numbers, they don't reach out.
Yeah.
I need you to check your people. Check them, because I have nothing else to say to them. I'm dealing on a federal level.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name.
Come up to the mic just a little bit so we can hear you.
Great. My name is Kyrie. I'm a senior at this high school. I want to talk about the mental health of my community. Right now, we have reportedly 2 mental health days out of the school year, which is ridiculous. Part of our teachers' strain is taking on the emotional health of their students. They have to constantly coach and talk to students and teach them stuff that there should be a therapist or even a class for. I have an issue with that. I just had 2 brothers moved and my sister moved from PGCPS schools, and they're going through it. I have to go home to them crying. I have to go home to my sister stressed out because of stuff that's going on at this school. There needs to be more mental health care for our school. I just want that addressed.
I don't disagree at all. I think on the front end, it's one of the things that I mentioned in terms of what we're doing around social and emotional health and providing free telehealth support through different therapists. So we definitely encourage not only students but also employees that need that support to get in touch with us and make sure we take advantage of that opportunity that's out there. Definitely.
Great. I would also like to say that I didn't like when you said to clap at my peers when they did their chant.
No, it was not clapping at them. No,
You told.
I think
Applause.
I think when
you can show that you heard us, getting our principal back in our school.
So let me explain where I was coming from. I think it's important to support our students because
we
it's
are
not
supported.
easy.
We were supported by our principal.
Sweetheart, I don't want you to get angry at me.
Angry.
That's not why
I'm not
here.
angry.
So I hear you.
My principal back. My principal and
Understood.
his entire family has taken care of me since I was 9 years old. I do not appreciate him being taken from his office without knowing about it.
Understood. We appreciate you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Keidra Williamson. I am a parent.
Come over to the mic a little bit.
I'm sorry. I'm currently having a flare-up due to stress from PGCPS. Your higher-ups know about the racial discrimination, bullying, now retaliation at Mount Rainier Elementary School that I am dealing with my 2 children. My honor roll children have been called niggers, monkeys, your hair is dirty, you need to go back where you come from, and some more. I have reported this higher. You are new. So I really am urging and begging you, the person that works under you, your assistant, wonderful person. I had to deal with her on Thursday when the school called the PPW to get, or PWW, whatever it is, to get my kids removed from school. And then Jennifer Till called my phone and told me, oh no, they can stay, only for me to get a call from the PPW saying, oh well, I heard you have questions about the school zoning. And I'm like, oh, I have no questions. Well, Jennifer Till sent me an email and told me to reach out to you. This lady came to my house and left paperwork for me to reach out to her because they told me that my kids were being removed from Mount Rainier Elementary School. Only after the week before, I went up to the school because my son was called a monkey and bullied, a first grader by a fifth grader, and he defended himself. They kept my son in the office all day, and he was punished, and nothing was done to her. I have been fighting since last year for the proper paperwork, Appendix D. I have been, the proper paperwork.
Of what?
Appendix D.
Okay. Yep, I'm with that. I just didn't hear.
I've been fighting from last year, and now it's this year. My kids have been retaliated against. Every week, basically, I'm getting a message from his teacher stating that he's done this, he's done that, and it's never what the other kids do. It's only when I speak to my child, because I know what's going on, that I find out that my kid is being hit, kicked, and spoken down to, and he's standing up for himself. My son is 6 years old. He is 6 years old. This is unacceptable. Prince George's County has broken so many laws on a federal level. It's no longer just on a PCP, whatever, Prince George's County level. I'm sorry, my words are mumbled and jumbled because this is so, it's mind-blowing.
Mount Rainier, we'll take a close look.
Mount Rainier.
Rainier, we'll take
Jennifer
a close
Till.
look.
Yes, they
to
need
the
to
concerns.
be. It's not even a close look at this point. Something needs to be done because these kids, my kids, are suffering. I have to fight with my kids to get them to want to go to school. Kids that have been in that school since they started that school. My daughter is 10 years old. There's no reason why I have to boost my kid up with her confidence. And she has to ask me, well, why can't I have straight hair? Why can't I have this? And when she's called a monkey, her principal and her vice principal tell her, well, you're not a monkey. That's what I'm dealing with as a parent. This is unacceptable.
It is.
Your higher-ups know about this. You're walking into this. Even Monica Goldstein, she emailed me personally after I put everybody on a chain of emails and said that she would get back to me. I hope that when you step in these shoes, you do get back to me because I can't do this. I have MS. My health is deteriorating. I'm back on medicine. I should not have to take medicine to get my kids to get a proper education. It's no longer about the education at that school, it's more about retaliation.
I hear your concerns, and if it's occurred in the manner that it's occurred, it's unacceptable, period.
Yeah,
It's
this is the second year, and all I'm asking for is a proper paperwork because, when our kids get bullied and picked on, what is happening now, my kids feel as if though people can say certain things to them, and then they think, oh, well, you know what, they did tell me I'm not a monkey, so that's okay, I should let it go. And when the little girl that calls them niggers and monkeys cries, they go to cater to her.
Got it. We, again, hear you loud and clear. So we appreciate your passion, and you deserve better if these things have occurred in the manner as you've explained them. So thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Shannon Reed. I am a
Michael,
parent.
okay.
Good evening. My name is Shannon Reed. I am a parent and a teacher. All three of my children have attended PGCPS. 2 have graduated from PGS, and 1 is a current student. One of the things that I've noticed, and I think this does play a big part in safety, is there is not the data tracking that needs to be done. So I have students who are in the 10th grade, and the majority of my students read like 3, 4, 5 grade levels below. As a parent, I'm a reading specialist. I know what to do. Although I'm a single parent, I have some time to deal with the issues that I even saw in my daughter because she went through schools where we never talked about data. I applaud PGCPS for the efforts towards the equity dashboard, but that is simply like a warning light. Every student needs to have a data profile from K to 12 so their parents can know, hey, I need to pay attention here. When I listen to the students and give them surveys, Many students haven't read more than 5 books in their entire life because our curriculum has been so narrowed that students now read informational text better than narrative text. You've been hearing stories your whole life. Everybody should be better at narratives than informational text. That type of literacy development is a reflection, a direct reflection of our curriculum. I would love to know what PGCPS is doing towards developing a system where parents know their scores from K to 12, math and English and reading, so that they can be their students' best advocate, their best proponent.
So knowing their scores from the beginning,
From K to
from
12, that's easy.
Dibbles assessments all the way to
All the way through,
Got
not
it.
to weaponize, because when students come to me, they've taken their diagnostic assessment, I get a score, but as a reading specialist, I know that there are 3 components
Yeah.
that I need to look at. I have to spend so much time just gathering data from, and I can usually go back to 6th or 7th grade, and I have students who haven't been out of the red zone since the 7th grade. That level of frustration breeds distractions, because it's hard to feel good about yourself when you know you can't do it. In truth, they can do it. It's an instructional issue. 90% of reading problems are instructional.
Yep.
That's period. And I mean, if I weren't a reading specialist, I wouldn't say it, but I am, and I know it is. The teachers who are new don't have that level of knowledge. More than anything, yes, I work harder in PGCPS than I did in the Marine Corps. Teaching should not be harder than the Marine Corps. We woke up at 4:45 and we went in by 7 o'clock. We'd done so much. Teaching is not sustainable because we don't have the data and the standards and everyone working together. It's not one single person. I wanted to send my daughter to Crossland, and they have an amazing program. And I looked at it, and they were preparing the students to be
We'll
in
have you
computer science.
to wrap up if you
real,
don't
real
mind.
quick.
Yep.
My son is a computer scientist. If you haven't prepared the students in terms of giving them the academics, there's no way they can be in computer science. And I didn't take advantage of the opportunity because I knew it's giving somebody program without preparation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Welcome to Prince George's County.
Thank you.
My name is Kendra Gatto, and I'm a National Board Certified Teacher of Literacy for Pointer Ridge Elementary, and I'm here to advocate for them. I was just going to sit and listen and be moral support and yeah, way to go, but then I heard some of the responses, and I believe you have some inaccuracy in the information that you've received. I participated in the boundary discussions, and I asked the questions about the new, at the time, there was only one new neighborhood being built behind the post office. And I was told that no new developments were taken into consideration, that a company from New York City came down, did their little data review, and determined that our school was too small and needed to be closed. I participated in every boundary discussion and asked the same question. Towards the end, I got one person, I wish I had her name, and she said, oh, there's only one development that's built, Amber Ridge. They did not take into consideration the other two, which are 2 to 3 times larger. So my question to you, would you please personally review the data yourself and come to a conclusion to keep our school open?
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Tyron Bay.
Come around to the front of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a teacher, but I'm a weird teacher in that this year,
Here?
no, not here, at Nicholas Orme. I'm sorry. I'm a teacher in PGCPS. This year, I'm in a weird, precarious situation, not precarious, but I was selected to be the teacher in residence for the Library of Congress, so I am not in the building. I'm at the library.
Congratulations.
Thanks. But when I was in the building, the Canvas was the big thing last year. We're going into it, this is the way, this is the will. And You know, I talk to administration and say, hey, this thing is not working. The kids don't like Canvas. No one likes Canvas. It is not, and here's the problem that I see. And now, as weird as now I'm at the library, and I'm looking at ed tech on a national level, and I've learned that the company Canvas, as one of the parents asked, can we see the data that backs up all the way through from kindergarten to whenever?
Yep.
Canvas just acquired, the company Canvas just acquired a company that allows them to say, hey, this child was in Mr. Bay's class at 12 o'clock, and everybody who was in Mr. Bay's class at 12 o'clock did this with their computer. And that's interesting that Canvas can do all of that, but I can't access, or last year I couldn't, and I am having a hard time connecting with some of these programs this year. Classcraft, just a lot of online programs that made working in my class for the past 7 years as a teacher, hey, this makes my class fun. We had to put the kids into Canvas. Nothing wrong with an LMS. My issue became, and the reason why I have to say something about it, I'm not here to just beat up Canvas. I'm here to beat up the concept that we're going to write people up if they're not engaging and utilizing it. Like, for say we have a teacher shortage, why then are we threatening teachers and not possibly giving teachers a better system? And I don't know what Canvas is doing on the college level. That's what everybody is saying. We got to use Canvas because on a college level, Canvas works. I have a pre-K3 at the Montessori school now. Canvas is irrelevant at pre-K3, so I don't know why we would think for a school system that goes pre-K3 through 12, we gotta be focused on this one thing because a lot of colleges are going toward it, and this one thing is not really talking well with the programs that's really made for K through 8 education. Now, what the young lady had shared when she came up earlier and said, hey, we're putting this money into Canvas and we need to reprimand folks. And she and I talked on the side, and she's right, that obviously there are some layers to Canvas that says we can put the grades in. There's a full, we're obviously not getting the full version. I'll just say that, just to get there quick. But if we're not going to get the full version, and we're limited by the version that we have, why not give teachers at least the option? Because prior to, it's almost like we've always had Canvas, and prior to it, we were, as a teacher, I could say, hey, I'm gonna put my students on Google Classroom over here. We were able to log in, right. All the kids were able to engage, parents were able to engage, and even when I was late on my school max, and I'm about to get off, even when I was late on my school max and my principal was ready to write me up because, hey, you didn't put your 2 grades in, I could tell a parent, or a parent would know if it was on Google Classroom, it evenly worked out. So I know what's going on with Johnny, and the parent can connect. And now I'm hearing parents can't connect with Canvas. It's just not feasible. It's not user-friendly. And
definitely hear the concern and appreciate.
I definitely want to just make sure, if nothing else out of this, we shouldn't be reprimanded behind Canvas in no way, shape, or fashion.
Definitely. Thank you. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm a school bus driver with Prince George's County, so I just wanted to bring up like one big major issue because like that other younger gentleman said, please don't listen to respond, listen to act, because there is a very big issue, and I have to emphasize this on safety, safety, safety. We don't have like a reform or like a plan for safety. Now, this number, as far as the 228, if someone wants to hold that sign up again, because I promise you and I guarantee you that that number is going to increase. And one of the biggest issues, this young lady brought up an incident to you as far as, you know, a driver being assaulted by a parent. I actually want to bring up an incident to you that happened late last school year where a driver and an attendant and a student was bombarded by 3 individuals. One of them had a gun, and that individual with the gun supposedly aimed the gun at that student and pulled the trigger twice and that gun jammed twice. That student is still with us today, thank goodness. But I can't even begin to express like how traumatic that event could have been, because a lot of folks here that are parents that know about this event, I'm sure at some point or another have thought about their child in that situation. And what's even more alarming to me is the fact that, of course, it gained national headline news, but the origin of it was here. PGCPS, our community, it happened here. So that's why I just wanted to reiterate to you, we need safety, safety, safety for our schools and our buses and our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is Princella Rather. I'm a board member for Local 2250 who represents 6,000 support staff of Prince George's County.
Good evening.
I am here to express that you have the most dedicated staff. We are the first responders in every building and work location in Prince George's County. Yet, the professional development that is offered to our staff does not go aligned with the work that we do.
Okay.
We're asking that professional development that is created for upper mobility and career advancement.
That's fair.
We're also asking that our schools and work locations not only be safe, but also that the work environment is conducive to the work that we do. We have asked this several times. I am an alumni of Prince George's County, from Head Start at Carmody Hills Elementary to Central High School class of '94. I am asking you to commit to supporting these 6,000 members. Everyone doesn't want to be in the classroom, but if they choose to, we should find money to support these paraprofessionals and ISEAs to get their education and not have to go into debt.
So the professional development, it's loud and clear.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. My name is Christine Chang. I'm a graduate of Laurel High School and Bowie State University. You have a letter coming to you today from me. I spoke to Diane Snowden as well. If I came in here and handed out edibles and weed to everyone in the audience, would I be escorted out? No, I wouldn't. That's amazing, because neither are our kids. I can go into Laurel High School, get high, smoke weed, take edibles, get PCP, have sex in the bathroom, and nothing's gonna happen. My daughter does more damage in the 8 hours that she's at school than all of the time she's under my control. I understand she has personal accountability. I also understand she's 15. It is disgusting that on my resumes, I get accolades and I'm in partnerships to build relationships with Bowie State, but if I walk into a PG County public school, I can do anything. I'm at Laurel High School so much, it's like I'm in high school again. It's a zoo. There were 7 fights in school on Monday because Mr. Dinkins wasn't here. We know because he didn't do the announcements. My daughter sat in the stairwell today because she didn't have a teacher in her science class. She also doesn't have a teacher in her computer class, and she just got a substitute in her history class. She's failing every class. One, because she lacks focus. But how can you focus when there's weed in the bathroom? I've talked to the police officer at school. Why aren't you arresting them? Why aren't you holding accountable? I don't care if you arrest her. She needs to learn a lesson. We can't arrest the kids. We can't go in the bathroom. Oh, weed is legal. But a minor, there's no consequence for a minor? You have to ring a doorbell and be buzzed in and for them to see your face on the camera to get into Laurel. But there's nobody at the doors to stop them from leaving. They can walk straight down Cherry Lane, blunt in hand, go have sex, walk back in the building, get on the bus like they've been in school all day, and then we get the message from Canvas that says they weren't there, and it's like, there wasn't a teacher.
What I can tell you is that, first of all, I hate the experience.
And I know you're new, so I'm sorry.
I hate the experience that you've just described. But as superintendent, as an administrator, I have zero tolerance in reference to drug utilization, drug peddling. So
well, the kids are walking around with teddy bears and saying they have social anxiety and the teddy bears help them, and there's PCP in the teddy bear. She told me because she says all the girls with teddy bears go in the bathroom and open them up and give each other drugs. She failed a drug test last week and said someone gave her a Starburst. And then later she slept for 7 hours.
I think it's important, I mentioned something earlier on the front end. If there is inside information around.
I told the police officer at this school.
And if we know
and he said he can't do anything.
We know who, we'll deal with them.
I told the administration who.
Okay.
They did nothing. That's why I wrote you a letter. One of
come
my
back,
sisters told me you were here
today. We try again, and we'll continue.
And every kid that's died lately in the car accident with the car wrapped around the tree, the boy that was shot in the laundry room, my daughter knows. So I gotta wait until my kid has the candlelight visual for a change to be done?
And what I don't want to do is I'm not going to go back.
I don't want to go back and forth with you, and I don't want a feel-good moment either.
I want to be a part of the solution.
I want a real change. I want to know when you're going to visit Laurel High School.
Lower your tone.
I'm sorry, but I can't because I'm going to lose my kid.
Of the solution, and we are here to focus and work together. So I appreciate your passion.
When you visit Laurel High School, in the letter I wrote you, I would like for you to respond to me and let me know when you plan to do a tour of the high schools in the county.
I was actually there last week.
Oh, I just missed you. When are you going again?
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate you.
First and foremost, welcome to gorgeous Prince George's.
You can pull it out if you need to.
My name is Ronnie Winston. I am an educator at G. James Golson, home of the True Knights. Lately, our school has, for the last several years, had a negative vibe, which some of the things that go on are not necessarily a lie. However, I have been there for the last 9 years. I know my babies inside and out. I know those who came through Coral Rice all the way through college. Right now, we're in a dilemma. I know today you had a learning walk there. And I really want to know what you really learned, not you personally, but your staff had a learning walk there. I really want to know what you really learned because as they walk through our beautiful school, it's more than 15 empty classrooms of teachers. Right now, we have a 8th grade group that don't have any teachers. I'm holding personally, right now, I have on a sub sheet 22 hours, it's only Wednesday, of teachers that's not in school that I have to hold their class. I teach physical education, so I was built this way. However, my child should be able to go to science class, go to reading class.
Agreed.
We in trouble over there. We have people that are paraprofessionals that are standing there as teachers, but they're really not educated to teach them. Not saying that they're bad people, but they are not armed to help the children that's in there. And we have a challenging school. But my babies, and I'm going to say that for real because I see a lot of stuff on the news saying that this is what our kids are. We get, nah, baby, come on up in the building and understand when you stand there and you stern and you make sure, hey, son, you're going to put that book bag in that locker. You're going to come in here with your Chromebook. You're going to do this. They will learn. Yes. Now, they call me everything up under the sun, but at the end of the day, thank you, Mr. Winston.
We appreciate you, Mr. Winston.
Now, I'm walking funny now because I had to break up a fight last year. My body is not the same anymore. You want our teachers, we had outstanding staff. They're gone because they can't deal with it. They went to school, they spent their money to become teachers, not to be referees, not to break up fights.
Agreed.
Sir, I'm hurting. You're going to see me as I walk up this hill. I'm hurting. We need some help over there. Now, my suggestion to you, I know outside the Beltway we have a lot of outstanding teachers, but if you could put an incentive to bring some of those teachers inside the Beltway, because if you look at the data, those schools, Drew Freeman, Walker Mill, I used to work there, G. James Golson, Benjamin Starter, those are your schools that are failing because they are inside the Beltway.
Appreciate the solution, the idea. Thank you.
And I will say we've got about 5 people left. We're going to leave it here. We are past the 8 o'clock hour, which is when we typically shut it down. So I'll ask respectfully before people come to the mic to practice brevity. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Shay Newman. I'm back again from last week.
Hi.
I'm here more to talk about my son. My son is in the 9th grade, the Deaf and Hard of Hearing program. He reads, they told me on Monday it was 3rd grade. And I'm coming here because he needs a tutor. And the reason why he needs a tutor is because a lot of stuff wasn't addressed in elementary and middle school. In elementary school, when Book Nook was initiated, he was in 6th grade. It cut off at 5th grade. Then when we went home during the pandemic, as I told you before, he went from a DRA 12 to a 28 being at home with me. Then when he went back to school, he regressed. So now he's in the 9th grade, supposedly reading at somewhat of a 3rd grade level. And I need a tutor, a specialized tutor, not just because he's deaf. They have to be aware of deafness, deaf culture, how to teach him in ASL, and the school hasn't provided that. I have here a document that I can give to your staff that they can read at their leisure that has all the data about where he was at every single year and what the school failed to do. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you want to provide that documentation, if you don't mind, right there. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
My name is Dr. William Johnson. I teach here at Flowers, the Mecca of Excellence, and 2 issues I want to address. The first issue is about the principal. I don't know what the issue is. Not asking you to tell me.
Yep.
But I do know that I've also experienced, I see someone in the audience where I was also the PTA president, and the county was ready to take him out over things that happened in the neighborhood. And I say to you, don't let the neighborhood dictate what the principal is doing, because he can't deal with everything in the neighborhood. He's a good man. He started a lot of programs here at this school that has reached out and grabbed hold of some young people that others was ready to give up on. He saw something in them and provided an opportunity for them that other teachers or principals may have missed. Okay. Remember, a good man deserves to be at a good place. The second issue. I heard.
Talk to me.
So, I'm looking. I heard the young man who just speak about the absence of teachers. I heard other people get up and speak about the absence of teachers. I am a conditional teacher. I've taught on the college level. I've worked in PG in the elementary, middle school, and high school. I love what I do because I've been an organizer. I know that some of the ways that we do things in PG is not as an organizer, but more as a teacher, and I understand it. But one of the things that's lacking is that when teachers who come in who are seeking to get that education, get that paperwork, get that certification, when they try to get that certification, the school system try to make sure that they're paying first, and then there's a reimbursement. But the other counties, they pay for you to go and then get a commitment from you to work for a certain amount of time. And so when those teachers are struggling, they go to other places so they can get their certification and they can continue teaching. They're going across the bridge, they're going to D.C., or they're going to Charles County, all the way even to Kent County, because they will make sure they pay for those so they can continue teaching. Why do we have to wait? Now, I'm going to give you an example, and then I'm going to be finished. 2 summers ago, I was told there was a partnership with Bowie, and to jump in and I could get most of my classes done, and I'd be ready to go. I jumped in, and they said they'd take care of it. This is the word I got. PG would take care of it. When I finished at Bowie, all they did to take care of it was to tell Bowie to send me a $7,000 bill. We make teachers pay. And actually, because I'm not certified, I get less than teachers pay. So I think that if we want to retain some of those that are coming in, we need to readjust what we're doing.
Thank you. How many years in the district?
I've been in this district 13 years.
30? 13. Got it. We appreciate your support, love of these kiddos.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm a parent here at C.H. Flower High School. I've been around the community for so many years now. I've dealt with Dr. Brown on so many levels. I've been to many of these schools around here. I've seen a lot of issues. My problem here is the county pick and choose who they're going to discipline.
Who they're going to what?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what the county does. There's a lot of cracks and problems within PGCPS. I know you're new, but I'm here to tell you that Dr. Brown is not one of them. Get our principal back to working for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening again. My name is Mrs. Curtis, and I really want to come to support Dr. Brown because Dr. Brown he's an amazing person. He's an amazing principal. He's an amazing leader. He's an amazing mentor with the Manhood 101 program. He's done a lot of things, but just listening to all of these different people talk has changed my mind like altogether. This young lady here who was attacked by the students, you sent her to someone to talk to, but you never apologized. You never said, I'm sorry that happened to you. That disturbed me. Everything that just about everybody said up here, you handed them off to somebody else.
And that,
You
and
had-
let me.
No.
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 You're not going to villainize me.
No,
just
I'm
just
not,
listen
no.
for just a moment.
No.
Just listen for just a moment.
Let me finish. While
My
I'm still
point
fresh.
in having my executive staff here is so she's going to get an opportunity to finish her point. I've stayed here, and I'm going to stay here till the end. The important thing about having people here, I could tell them to go home, but it's important for me to get documentation around different issues that are going on so that we can have the kind of follow-up on them. We're here to provide solutions. We're here to listen and to learn and to provide the supports. Whether you heard something that I didn't hear in reference to me not
Her being
apologizing,
stomped on.
I don't want that to happen, and I'm sorry that happened. But I'm a part of the solution as well, and I want PGCPS to grow, to do better, to ensure that our scholars have what they necessary to be supported for the future.
And I'm sure that's your intent. It is. But as a person, as a human being, when I heard that story, it just broke my heart. I don't know that child.
Absolutely.
But your first thing should have been, I apologize. Sorry that it happened to you. Now go talk to so-and-so. Everybody that came to you with any kind of questions, inquiries, anything, you sent them to somebody. You had one person that you email me. You had another person that said, I've already emailed you. So I think you do a lot of delegating, which you have a big job. So it is your job to delegate. But you have to get more in touch with the people.
And that's why we're here.
Yes,
That's why
you
we're
have to
here.
get more in touch with the people because when I heard about the IEPs, my son had an IEP. And if you do not stay on top of the team that's supposed to be supporting your child, they will fall through the cracks. Right. You have to stay on that. You have to, the 504 plans, the IEPs, everything that these people are going through, I've lived. My son was reading on a college level when he was in the 6th grade. You said some kids never read 5 books. My son was reading 5 books a week. That's expensive. Or a lot of gas to the library. But what I'm saying is, I want you to listen. If you're going to be our superintendent, listen to us. Listen to the parents. Don't just give the quick answer, go talk to so-and-so, go talk to so-and-so, go talk to so-and-so. Feel it, man, in your heart. If this is your job, your dream, you want to help support this community, this county, you have to have a heart to do so.
Agreed. I completely agree.
Dr. Brown has a heart for this school. Bring him back. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. You can pass it to him. There you go.
Good evening, good brother.
Good evening.
I'd say thank you for being here, listening to everyone share their 2 cents. So my 2 cents, my first cent is, I'm Derek Grubb from the math department, elementary numeracy coach, a great group of people, passionate about what they do, extremely intelligent. We're an intimate group. We need an army.
We need
an army.
Got it.
We need way more people. My second cent, I prepared something. I recently I saw a video that inspired me with children at the end standing up saying, I am Malcolm X. So I'm compelled to speak this evening. Being a native of Tulsa, Oklahoma that you are, home of the Greenwood Archer and Pine Band, better known as the Gap Band, I know that you intimately know the horrors of the Tulsa race massacre of African Americans in 1921. I'm appealing to that understanding, trauma, and historical memory. So I ask, what do Samuel Ogle, Benjamin Tasker, William Paker, John Bain, James Ryder Randall, Andrew Jackson, Benjamin Stoddard, Charles Carroll, John Hanson, Samuel Chase, Odin Bowie, and Francis Scott Key have in common? They were esteemed Americans, white male property owners, have schools named after them in Prince George's County, and are inextricably linked to the enslavement of African people. Should it matter? Well, Prince George's County held more enslaved Africans than any other county in the state of Maryland. Founding Father John Hanson owned at least 223 acres of land and 11 enslaved Africans at the time of his death. Founding Father Charles Carroll was reputedly the largest single owner of enslaved Africans at the time of the American Revolution. Owning nearly 500, he became president of the American Colonization Society, seeking to solve America's slave problem by resettling them in Africa. Founding Father Samuel Chase, despite religiously disagreeing with slavery, was an enslaver nonetheless, a true man of his times. Researching the life of Charity Folks, enslaved woman in 1757 on the Bel Air plantation, what is today Bowie, she was owned by Samuel Ogle and was servant to Ogle's daughter Mary. Her father is believed to have been Benjamin Tasker Jr., who operated the 2,177-acre plantation. He was a partner with his brother-in-law, Charles Lowndes, in the business of enslaving Africans. For the sake of historical accuracy, the school is named after the senior, not the junior. Charity's great-grandson was Reverend Dr. Hutchins C. Bishop, an Episcopalian minister who served as president of the historic 1917 Negro Silent Protest Parade in New York City. Benjamin Stoddard, the country's first Secretary of the Navy, reportedly owned enslaved Africans, and that while black men had participated in the Navy during the American Revolution, Stoddard borrowed them from joining when he assumed control in 1798. Seventh President of the country, Andrew Jackson, owned over 300 enslaved Africans during his lifetime. His presidency marked the beginning of the national policy of Native American removal. Anyone ever hear the Trail of Tears? Odin Bowie was among the county's as well as the state's largest owners of enslaved Africans. Odin's father, William, increased his holdings from 42 enslaved persons held in 1830 to 93 by 1860. Odin exceeded his father by owning 103 by 1860. Founding Father William Paker owned 13 enslaved Africans. In 2020, 3,700 students at Towson University, founded in 1866, demanded the name change of the dorms Paker House and Carroll Hall. The dorms were renamed to Barnes Hall and Harris Hall after the university's first two African-American graduates, Marvis Barnes and Myra Harris, 1959. In March 2022, Paker's name was removed from a Harford County public school. Patrick Spicer, legal counsel for the school board, stated, "The superintendent and administration believe that maintaining the name of an owner of enslaved persons as part of the name of a school is inconsistent with the educational mission of Harford County Public Schools." On November 6, 1834, a defiant 14-year-old enslaved girl named Judah waged her freedom struggle. She abhorred enslavement. She was tried for fatally poisoning 3 children and set fire to the plantation home known as Salubria. According to newspapers of the time, Judah was tried in Upper Marlboro by 12 white male landowners, found guilty, and sentenced to execution by hanging. The newspaper article stated, "What renders these acts so atrocious is that she is from the excellent families of servants and has a kind and indulgent master to serve. Her owner was John Bain, and today Salubria is Tanger Outlet Mall. I bet we won't name a school after her." Francis Scott Key, author of the Star Spangled Banner, with its line from the third stanza, "No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave." The nine stanza poem.
If you don't mind, if you would, can I have the copy that you have?
Absolutely.
And what I will.
I do want to finish. I'm almost done.
vow
I'm
to
almost
do.
done. I'm almost
What
done, brother. The nine stanza poem,
that
Maryland,
print-
My
that print is
Maryland,
real,
known
real
as
small.
the.
You
as
promise?
I'm almost done, brother.
All right.
The nine stanza poem, Maryland, My Maryland, known as the battle cry of the Confederacy, was repealed as a state song by the Maryland State Legislature May 18, 2021. We're repealing the state song. It is a relic of the Confederacy, which is clearly outdated and out of touch, declared Republican Governor Larry Hogan. Its author, James Ryder Randall, is known as the poet laureate of the lost cause. Even the Silver Spring billionaire, former football team owner, was compelled to change the name of the team that plays 3 miles from here. Surely residents who are titled and entitled proud alumni of historical black colleges and universities, duly initiated members of the Divine Nine, esteemed members of the Lynx, Masons, Eastern Stars, the Boule, NAACP members, Jack and Jill parents, school board members, politicians, educators, and the like, blessed and highly favored congregants of some of the largest and most illustrious temples of faith in the country can surely agree that these names should be changed. It would be the culturally responsible thing to do. Or is that just academic buzzwords for the moment that is on the compliant and liable checkoff list? In these tiresome, troublesome times, there's a great many things that I no longer am sure of that I once was, but I am absolutely sure of this. For the rest of our tomorrows, there will never be an Andrew Jackson Elementary, Middle, or High School that First Nation people's children will cross the threshold for their education. For the rest of our tomorrows, there will never be an Adolf Hitler Elementary, Middle, or High School that Jewish children will cross the threshold for their education. Why should that reality exist today for our children? Let's change the name of our schools. My 2 cents given.
I appreciate your passion. You're in math, but it sounds like we
I'm
might
history,
need you in
but
history. Okay.
Dr. Clark.
Pleasure meeting you. Absolutely. Thank you all, Charles Flowers High School and community, for being here this evening. Please know that the words that were shared passionately from each one of our community members, each parent, each student, is taken to heart. My job as superintendent is to do the best we can to ensure that we make a better tomorrow for our students. We've heard a lot about the issues. There are also a lot of celebrations, too, that I've learned about in the school district. Hard-working individuals, from bus drivers to teachers to individuals that work in administration as well. And my goal is to build on that, ensure that we have a better tomorrow. God bless and good night. Absolutely.